Alex Preddy, when he was shot, his hands were on the ground. He did not have a firearm in his hand. Border Patrol should not have been there. Border Patrol should be patrolling the border.
I feel like our administration wanted this type of escalation. I don't think Renee Good deserved to be killed. We sometimes feel like they're waiting for one of us to be shot and killed.
What did you think about the Alex Preddy shooting?
That one was also particularly traumatic.
Was Renee Good a criminal? No. Was she acting like a bitch? Yeah.
It was a time when ICE operated mostly in the background. Most Americans barely thought about it. Immigration raids happened quietly. Detention centers stayed invisible. Families disappeared from neighborhoods overnight. And the news cycle moved on. But in 2026, something changed.
Since taking office, my administration has launched the most sweeping border and immigration crackdown in American history.
Immigration enforcement raids are initiated across Texas.
Growing tensions over mass deportations in Los Angeles.
Suddenly, ICE wasn't just a federal agency anymore. It became a symbol. To some Americans, it represented law, borders, and national security. To others, it became the face of government fear. And now, the backlash is exploding into one of the largest protest movements America has seen in years. From Minneapolis to Los Angeles to New York City, thousands of people are marching under a new slogan: ICE out. Not reform ICE, not improve ICE. Remove it entirely. And the movement is growing faster than Washington expected. The anger didn't appear overnight. For years, immigrant rights activists criticized the agency for detention conditions, deportation tactics, and aggressive raids. But the real turning point came after the return of Donald Trump to the White House in 2025. Within days of taking office, the administration launched expanded deportation operations across major cities. Then came what critics called Operation Metro Surge.
Charges against an ICE agent accused of shooting a Venezuelan man in mid-January coming down today.
The shooting happening a week after Renee Good was shot and killed. It has sparked a night of unrest. Maury Glover joining us now to break down these charges. Maury?
Thousands of federal agents were deployed. Raids intensified. Communities started seeing armored vehicles, tactical gear, and masked agents in neighborhoods that had never experienced anything like it before. And then came Minneapolis. In January 2026, two controversial deaths connected to ICE operations shook the country. One involved Renee Good. Another involved Alex Preddy, an ICU nurse and U.S. citizen who was killed during a confrontation with federal agents. Videos online quickly spread across social media, with protesters claiming the official narrative didn't match what witnesses saw.
Schools have canceled classes for the next 2 days.
The teachers union says this comes after ICE showed up to the campus of one of their Minneapolis schools.
What else are you fucking waiting for?
That was the moment the protests exploded nationally. Not just activist groups, students, teachers, labor unions, even small businesses joined in. America started shutting down. Minnesota became ground zero. Tens of thousands reportedly marched in freezing temperatures while businesses closed in solidarity with the demonstrations. Soon, anti-ICE protests spread across the country: San Francisco, Boston, New York, Los Angeles, Chicago. By February, organizers claimed over 300 anti-ICE protests had taken place nationwide, and unlike past immigration protests, this time the movement had momentum online. TikTok clips showing raids gained millions of views. Live streams of arrests spread in real time. Hashtags like #IceOut and #AbolishICE dominated activist spaces. The movement became emotional fuel for an entire generation that already distrusted institutions after years of political chaos. That's when things became dangerous politically. Because once celebrities, politicians, and influencers enter a movement, it stops being local. It becomes cultural warfare.
Due process with an illegal immigrant should be, let me see your papers. Oh, you don't have them? They don't exist? Okay, get out of the country.
Donald Trump and his ICE Gestapo goons think that they can break the spirit of the American people, but if the events of the past week have shown us anything, it is that they have ignited the fire of entire communities who are actively standing up and fighting back.
Trump is using military forces to stop a protest. And I want y'all to consider what kind of government it appears to be when every time we exercise our democratic right to protest, the military is deployed against us.
The immigration thing, the way it looks is horrific. when you're just arresting people in front of their kids and just normal, regular people that have been here for 20 years, that everybody who has a heart can't get along with that.
No.
Everybody who has a heart sees that and goes, that can't be right. That can't be right. That can't be the only way to do this.
Right.
Because you have to think, look, yeah, we have to have a border. Yes, it should have been secure. Yes, they should make sure you know who everybody is before they get in.
Yeah.
But when people have been here for 20 years, like, come on, man. That's crazy. Like, let's find a way. If they've been productive members of society for 20 years, no criminal record, they worked the entire time, they paid taxes, find them a pathway to citizenship. Find a way where you can do this thing that you want to do, which is keep terrorists and cartel members from getting across the border with drugs that kill 100,000 people a year. Okay, but also have a heart. Because if you don't, you're not going to get anybody on your side.
Progressive politicians openly criticized ICE operations. Some city leaders refused cooperation with federal immigration enforcement. Civil rights groups like the American Civil Liberties Union intensified lawsuits against ICE practices. The movement wasn't just about immigration anymore. It became about power, identity, and who gets to define America itself. Data groups tracking political unrest say demonstrations in the United States have surged dramatically compared to Trump's first presidency. And this movement has something many past protest waves didn't: a clear emotional villain. Videos of crying families, masked agents, children watching parents taken away. Whether fully accurate or selectively clipped, the emotional impact is devastating online. That's why anti-IC activism spreads so easily on platforms like TikTok and Instagram. It's visual. And in modern politics, visuals beat policy every time. One viral story involved Christian Cerna.
I'm an American citizen. Calm down. Born and raised, man. Chill, dude. I'm not a criminal.
We got to arrest one.
It felt like a joke. It felt like they were like, oh, we got the guy that was running his mouth. Like, this is gonna show the world that you can't talk about us because we're gonna do whatever we want. So we'll shut you up. We'll ram into your car. We'll put your family at risk.
A U.S. citizen arrested by ICE after participating in demonstrations in Los Angeles. Critics accused the agency of using excessive force and turning the arrest into political theater after footage was shared publicly online. Another story involved high school students in Arizona walking out of class to protest ICE expansion plans near their schools. To supporters of the movement, these aren't isolated incidents. They're proof that ICE has become too powerful. To opponents, the protests themselves are proof America is losing control of immigration enforcement. That divide keeps widening every week. The fight against ICE is also exposing something much bigger. Americans no longer trust federal institutions. Not the media, not the courts, not law enforcement, not elections, not each other. ICE simply became the latest battlefield in a country already exhausted by polarization. And that's why the protests feel so explosive. Because underneath the immigration debate, there's a deeper fear. People believe the government can now use overwhelming force against ordinary citizens while half the country cheers it on. That fear creates radicalization on both sides. Even the judiciary is beginning to step into the chaos. Just today, a federal judge in New York blocked ICE arrests at several Manhattan immigration courthouses, arguing that immigrants must be able to attend hearings without fear of immediate detention.
Agents were able to take into custody individuals who were following requirements to appear before immigration judges. The arrests have resulted in dramatic scenes in courthouse hallways, with those being detained sometimes being pulled away from emotional family members. The Lower Manhattan federal buildings, including 26 Federal Plaza, 201 Barrack Street, and 290 Broadway, have seen immigration-related protests and standoffs between agents and demonstrators. U.S. District Judge P. Kevin Castile said in a written decision that while there was a strong governmental interest in enforcing immigration laws, there also was serious interest in letting individuals pursue asylum claims without fear of arrest.
Civil liberties organizations celebrated the decision as a major victory. But critics say rulings like this weaken immigration enforcement and encourage more illegal migration. Again, two completely different interpretations of the same event. That's modern America. Many people thought the slogan died after Trump's first term. It didn't. It evolved. Now it's re-emerging with stronger organization, larger protests, and wider public support than before. Polling in 2026 shows opposition to ICE actions rising significantly among Democrats and independents. Meanwhile, Republicans remain strongly supportive of tougher immigration enforcement, so the issue keeps feeding America's political machine. Fear drives engagement. Engagement drives outrage. Outrage drives clicks. And clicks drive modern politics. That cycle is almost impossible to stop. Nobody really knows. Maybe the protests fade. Maybe courts limit ICE operations. Maybe the federal government doubles down even harder. But one thing is clear. This is no longer just an immigration debate. It's becoming a battle over what kind of country America wants to be. A nation defined by strict enforcement and national control, or a nation willing to challenge the power of its own institutions in the name of civil liberties. And the scariest part? Both sides believe they're saving America. That's usually when countries enter their most dangerous phase. The fight against ICE didn't begin with one protest. It began with years of rising distrust, political anger, economic fear, and social media radicalization colliding all at once. Now the pressure is finally breaking through, and America is watching it happen in real time, one viral video at a time.